Hey guys, welcome to our last part on material requirement planning. As you recall, last video what we worked on was about the last video that we worked on was about the term phase, product structure. We just had to discuss how you should build the term phase product structure. That you should come first of all from the product structure tree. You get all the information, and we also worked on the bill of material, which we say that it was a bill that tells you exactly how many material you're looking for or for the component that you want to build. The next we say that the key information here was mainly about the lead time, that was telling you how much time elapsed between the moment you have placed an order and you have received it. So today what we are going to work on, we're going to work on point 14. As I recall, it was 14.5 in the Operation Management, Sustainability and Supply Chain by J. Hazer and Barry Render, 12 edition. So the exercise we are working on was 14.5. Which a two question, which was the construct the product structure and identify all the levels and parent and component, which is what we did. Then we also prepared the term phase product structure, which is also what we did. So today we'll do 14.6, which say that using the information in problem 14.5, so construct the gross material. So in this video today we'll construct the gross material and for 14.6, and we'll also work for 14.7, which will be about construct a net requirement. So this last video will be about 14.6 and 14.7. So how do you go about 14.6? The question is about using the information in 14.5, construct the gross material. So the information that is mainly important here when you are working for the gross material is about you knowing first of all how many units are required for the sub assembly S, and when it's required, which is first of all it's 100 units that are required by week 7. Then next we also need the information to know about the lead time, which is already given in this statement here. Those are the two information that you need to know whenever you want to work for the when you want to work for the gross material requirement. So for you to work out the gross material requirement plan, you will most of the time have a gross requirement planning table that looks like this. Generally this thing is already given to you. You can even find it online, or you can even make one by yourself. It's not something that is very tricky, but it's something that it is a table that has the different headings with the items, and then we have the time period, which can be weeks or days. Remember that this is a short term planning, so we're not working with years, we're not working with months. Generally it goes for weeks and days. So you will have to fill this table based on the information that you have, and we will be able to work it from there. So the first thing here, we'll start with the first element, which is gonna come straight from the product structure here. So I always advise for you to start with the element as they appear on different level. So the first one will be S, the second T, U, and V, W, X, Y, Z, like based on the way they appear on the product structure. That's what I always advise you to go for. So the first component here is going to be S. So in your table here you will have S. Then we also need to fill the lead time here. The lead time is also found in the problem, but I remember we splitted it here. So we had this here, which is the lead time. So the lead time for S is 2 weeks, for T is 1 week, and so on. So we go back here. For S we will put 2 weeks. Let me just fill everything. So we have 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks. So we have 1 week, and here we have 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks. Then we have 2, 3, 1. So we have 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and finally 1 week. After 1 week we have 2 weeks, and then 1 week again. So we have 2 weeks, then we have 1 week. Just want to fill all the components first. So after S we have T, U, and V. So here we'll have T, then V, sorry, so we have STUV WX, then we have Y, WXY, then the last one is Z. Yeah. So how do we go about filling the table? The first thing that you need to know first of all is about the amount of units that need to be produced. When you look at the information, they say here that the amount of unit that one need is 100 units for S that need to be ready in week 7. So you go back to week 7 here, we have 100 units that need to be produced. Now these 100, these are the number of units that need to be produced from S and need to be ready by week 7. So the lead time here tells you that if this product needs to be produced in week 7, so it needs to be ordered 2 weeks before. So you go back, if it is needed in week 7, so 2 weeks before will be week 7. We have week 6 and week 5. So this week 5 here, it's 2 weeks that is backward. So we'll have to produce our 100 unit by week 5, so that week 6 and 7 it is ready by then, and they'll be delivered by week 7. So it means that for S it needs to be start producing. We'll start ordering on week 5. 2 weeks later it is ready by week 7. So the next item is going to be item T. Now you look at our product structure here that tells you that S got 2 components, T and U. So we find out that T and U are coming straight from S. So this is T, and we will start them when S needs to be ordered because they are coming straight and S is the parent from here. So how many units are we going to produce? We are going to we look at our product structure here that tells us that for us to produce one S we need 1 T. So the component is going to be 100 times 1, which is 100. We put it in week 5 because that's when week 5 we will have to order for week S, for product S. So, and since T is coming straight from S, we will have to order it when S is about to be ordered. So you have 100, it's 100 times 1, which is 100. Then it's 1 week ago, so we go backward 1 week, we put our 100. We do the same thing for the other component, which is U, that is coming straight from S, but it is 2. That means for us to get 1 S we need 2 U. So we have U here, and U is coming also straight from S, which is here on week 5. So it is 100 times 2, which is going to give us 200, and the lead time is 2 weeks. We count backward 1 week, 2 weeks, we have 200. So that means that we have to release the production from week 3 so that 2 weeks later it is ready. Then next we go to unit V, to component V. Component V is coming straight from T, and for us to produce 1 T, we will need 1 V only. So we go back to our table, we look at V. V is coming from T, so we look at T. T is here, and then T will be over in week. We need to be released in week 4 here. So we look at week 4. That's when we will put V, which is 100 times 1. It's still 100. Then it's 2 weeks backward. We got the first week and the second, and we get our U. Our V need to be released by week 2. Then that's it about V. Then we check again about W, that is coming from T. W is to get 1 T we need 2 W's. So we go back to our T. T is in week 4. So according to the product structure, to get 1 T we need 2 W's. So you go back to our T that is released in week 4, and then we'll get 100 times 2 because we need 2 W's to make 1 T. It is 100 times 2, which is 200, and it will be released 3 weeks before, which is week 1, 2, and 3. So we get our 200 that will be released in week 1. Then we look at X, that is coming straight from T. for us to produce one T, we need one X2. So we go back, all of them are coming from T, which is in week 4 here. So week 4 X will come from here, so it's 100 times 1, which is still 100. Then it needs to be released a week before, which is here. Then we will get our 100 unit. Then next we go back to, well, we are done with all the components that are coming straight from T. So we'll look at the one that are coming now from U. It's only Y and Z. So they say that to get one U, you need to get one Y. So I mean 2 Y's, sorry. So you go back to, and all of them are coming straight from U. So U, 1 U is equal to 2 Y's. So U ends in which week? U end in week, U needs to be released in week 3, which is 200. So we get 200 times 2. Why? Because we have 2 components here. So 200 times 2. Then we have our Y, which is going to be 400. Then we count 2 weeks backward. 1, 2. The 400 will be released here. Then the last component is Z, which is coming straight from U. Then we have 1 U equal to 3 Z. So we go back at our U's. It's from week 3. Then we'll take 200 times 3, which is going to be, the 200 is coming from here. 200 times 3 is going to give us 600. Then we have 600, we have the first week here. That's when it's going to be released. So we are done with Y and Z. That are the components from U. We have Y and Z here, and this is how you do the gross product, the gross requirement table. So based on the information that you got, like I told you as a summary, you need first of all to start with by identifying the first component, when is it needed, and then how many. By the time you have identified it, you are going to be able to identify all the other items. We just need to start from where the item is released. That when you start, like the 100 need to be released 2 weeks ago, you release them. Then the components that are coming straight from the main components, those are the ones that you are going to be able to construct one by one. So like I said, I'll advise you to always fill the table level after level. You move from item in level 0, then item in level 1, item in level 2. You can also try to solve them randomly, but it's going to be very difficult, even though you'll be able to find the answer, but it's going to be very tricky for you to get it like that. So far, this is how you go about the cross requirement template. I think that you find. Feel free to comment if you are struggling to understand some part. Well, that was all about question 14.6. Now we'll go straight to the question 14.7 that say that using the information in problem 14.1, construct a net requirement plan using the gross, using the online inventory. Before going to the net requirement plan, I'm going to put a small comment on the difference between the gross and the net requirement plan. The gross requirement plan tells you the number of units that one needs. Remember that this one just tells us, this gross requirement just tells us that if we need to produce 100 units here, we need to start here, and so on and so on. It doesn't consider the capacity on end. It just tells you exactly what you guys need, that all, without considering what is on end, what does the company already have. This is why, for example, when you are solving 14.6, we were not given the on-end inventory. What does on-end inventory means? It means, for example, that a customer want us to supply 50 units, but we got already 20 units in stock, so we want to produce 50. We'll produce 50 minus 20, which is 30 units. That is the difference between the gross and the net. The gross requirement doesn't consider the capacity on end, while the net requirement consider the capacity on end. So how do you go about solving that? This was a table that you use when you're working for the gross requirement plan, but when you are working for the net requirement plan, you use a table that is slightly the same, but I just got different values, different ways of fixing it, that you'll have to do it separately. These are some components that I fixed that I used before, but I'm going to change them. So let's go back to the question. The question is saying that using the information in 14.5, construct a net requirement planning. using the following on-end inventory. So every time that you see that you are given an on-end inventory, generally it goes for a net requirement plan. So we still go from the item from the product structure tree that we have here. We will start with S. So the main product that we are working for is S here, and then the parent, we will put a dash saying that there's no parent, it is on level 0, there's no lot size. And then the lead time, we go back to our information here, the lead time is 2 weeks. So from here we will put the gross requirement. Remember that they are saying that we should use the information in 14.5. The information that is important here is the number of units and when they should be released. So in this case here, the number of units is it need to be released first in week 7, which is 100 units in week 7. So the schedule received is still going to be 100. The on-end inventory, we look at the table that we have. On-end inventory for S is 20 units. So we will put 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Why are we starting with the 20 from week 1? The principle of the net requirement plan is that the information that you need, the data that you are on end, is the data that is the component that are already in the inventory of the company. We assume that from the moment the company open the stock, they already get 20 units, which is they open in period 1. So those items have been in the inventory from the first day till the day the customer places an order. So that means from the day we have opened the factory on week 1, we had 20 units in stock, 20 all the way till week 7. That's why the 20 goes all the way till week 7. So now it means that the customer wanted 100 item, we got 20 in stock, so we won't produce 100 because we got 20 in stock. We'll produce 80, which is 100 minus 20. Then the lead time is 2 weeks. Well, we will also put the 80 here. That means that this is what we will receive, but what are we going to release now is 2 weeks backward. So the first week and the second week will have our 80 here, which is now different from the gross, because if you look at the gross, we only had 100 that came back in week 5. If you look at the gross in week 5, we have 100 and not 80. Why? Because here we didn't include, in this table we didn't include anything like the on-end inventory. So here we got 80. Now we do the same thing for the coming item. The coming item is T and U. We'll start with T. So T is saying that for us to get 1S, we need 1 T. So we have a T here. The parent here for T is S, which level is on level 1. The lot size is empty. Then we look at the lead time. The lead time is 1 week here. So remember that now for us to get 1 T, we got 1 S. We are on week 5. We look at week 5 here. And week 5 is telling us that we need to get 80 items. So we'll get 80. Do we have anything on end for this component? We got 20. Now, sometimes there are some components whereby we have nothing in stock, like the stock is 0. It's quite normal. It's not like we always need to get something in stock. So in this case, we get 80 minus 20, which gives us 60. You have 60 again, and then we work it a week backward, which is in week 4. Then we do the same thing for the next item, which is U. But here they say that to get 1 S, we need 2 U's. So we get U. The parent is S, which level is level 1, lot size empty, and then we look at the lead time based on the table that we have. The lead time is 2 weeks. Got 2 weeks, and the table is saying that for us to get 1 S, we need 2 U's. So we look at the table, we found out where does S end in week 5. That means in week 5 we'll get 80 times 2, which is 160. Then we got 160 here again. The inventory on end for that component U is 40. So you go back with 40, 40, 40, 40, and 40. the net requirement is going to be 120 because we have 160 minus 40. Then we have 120 here. Then they are going to be received 2 weeks backward. So we have week 4 and week 3. So we have 120 here. So we need to release them in week. So we need to place our order in week 4 so that it's going to be received on week 5. So next, the next item is V, W, and X that are coming from T. So V, it says that for us to get 1 T, we need 1 V. So you go back, first of all, the item here is V. So the item is V, product parent is T, level, it is on level 2, unless I'm mistaken, let me check. Yes, on level 2. The lot size is empty, and the lead time for V, let's look at our gross. For V, it's 2 weeks. So we have 2 weeks from here, and they're coming straight from T. T ends in week 4 with 60 units. Remember that 1 T is equal to 1 V based on the table. It is in week 4, 60 times 1. So we have 60 times 1, which is still 60. We have 60. Then we look at the capacity on end here. The capacity on end is 30 units. So we have 30, 30, 30, and 30 here. The number of units that will produce is going to be 30 because you already had 30 in stock. Then we have 30 here again, and we work for it 2 weeks backward, week 3 and week 2. Then we got our 30. The next component is component W. W is here. The parent is still T. The level is on level 2. The lead time, we look at our gross. The lead time for W is 3 weeks from here. So we have 3 weeks from here. This is the lead time. Now, which component are we? It's W, sorry. The lead time here. The lot time is empty. The lot size, here we have 3 weeks. So W is coming straight from T, whereas T needs to be ready by week 4, which is 60 units. So W is here. We have 60 units, but we need to check how many items. It is 2. W is 2, so we have 60 times 2, which is 120. We have 120 here again. Then we look at the capacity on end for W is 30 units. So we look at our table here, the net, which is 30 units. So we have 30, 30, 30, then we have 30, and here we'll get 120 minus 30, which is 90. We have 90 again, and the lead time is 3 weeks. 1, 2, 3. We will get our 90 here. So we are done with W. Then we go back and check for after W we have X. So 1T is equal to 1X. So we go back to our table here. We'll put X. Product parent is T. Level, it's on level 2. Lot size is empty. The lead time in this case for X, the lead time for X is 1 week. Then the gross requirement, it's coming straight from T. We look at T, the requirement is 4 units. I mean, it's 60 units in week 4. So we have here, so we get 60, because remember here, the number of units is for us to make 1 T, we need 1 X, so it's still 60. So we have 60. We'll get another 60 down here. We just need to check the capacity on end for X, which is 25. So here we get 25, 25, 25, 25. Then we get 60 minus 25, which gives us 35 units. Then we have 35 units here again that will be released a week before, which is in week 3. So we get our 35. Then the next thing is we are done with all the components from T. We are done with V, W, and X. So for U, we left with Y and Z. So for us to make one U, we need two Y's. So the component here is Y. Product parent is U. Which level? Level 2. Lot size is empty. Then we look at Y. The lead time is 2 weeks. So the lead time in this case, it is 2 weeks. Then they say that for us to get one U, we need two Y's. So we look at U. Yeah, U is in week 3 and it's 120. So we'll get 120. Let me check again. So it's 120 in week 3. So we go back here in week 3, we got 120, and according to the table we get 120 times 2. So 120 times 2 is 240. 240 in this week again. Then the capacity on end for U, for Y, it's 240. Here is 240. So we'll get 240, 240, then 240 again. Now 240 we have on end, and we need to produce 240, so we're still going to get a 0 here, and we will get another 0. That will be also released 2 weeks before it's another 0. Don't make the mistake, because it is a 0, you don't put it, you don't mention it, you just leave it empty. You always have to show that there's a 0 here. This is how you work out. Then the last item is item Z. We have our Z here. That is coming straight from U, and then with 2 items. On level 2, lot size is empty, and the lead time is 1 week. Is 1 week. It is coming straight from U. Where is U from here? It's coming straight from U, which is 120. 120 times 3 is going to give us 360. So we go back to our item. The 120 is in week 3, so we get 360 in week 3 here. Then we got 360 here again. Then we go back to Z, which is 40 on end, get 40, 40, 40. Then 360 minus 340 gives us 320. I mean, yes, 320. We get 320 here again. Then the order release, it's a week before, which is here we got 320. I think we're done. One last thing is adding errors here. Every time that you're working this kind of exercise, you always have to add an error to show that the number have moved from week 7 to week 6. I mean, from week 7 to week 5. Same thing we do for this other item. It's an important thing whenever you're working. Make sure that you always show your errors. Whenever we are moving the component, it means that we're moving from week 5 to week 3. On all your components, make sure that you are showing that part. Like here, we're moving from 4 to 1. In the last one, from 4 to 3. Even the 0 itself, you show that it is moving from 3 to 1. And the last one here like this. So this is how you go about the net. I just want to take something. Let's take, for example, item Z. Is in the gross requirement for item Z, we say that it moving from week 3 to week 2. It was 600 units, but for the net requirement, we're still moving from 3 to 2, but with 320 units. Why? Because like I told you, whenever you are working with the Z, or whenever you're working with the net, you consider the capacity on end. That's why generally the number of items are always few when you're working with the net requirement, because the number of items to produce are considering also the capacity on end. So I guess this is how you solve the net requirement plan. And thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope that it was really helpful. We have solved for all the questions, but there are different questions and different types. We cannot solve all the questions on all the particular cases. It is to you to go and solve all those things. But if you struggle, you can still consult, you can still write an email. We're still going to be able to help. But so far, thank you so much for watching this video on MRP, and I really hope that it was helpful. Thank you so much. Don't also forget to subscribe to the channel to get more information and every time that a video is uploaded. Take care and have a good day.